This is a jackfruit. It's actually the smallest jackfruit that I've ever seen. So for some people this might be a very large fruit, but usually they're immense. And if you've never ever tried a jackfruit before, I graciously invite you to please drop whatever you're doing, find the nearest jackfruit, and run to it. This jackfruit usually takes me about 2 hours to open everything and have it ready to eat. This is a smaller one, so I am trusting that I can do it within an hour and a half, the most an hour and 45 minutes. However, if it takes more, then so be it. Part of what I'm calling diet confusion, and I've been using this terminology for a while now, diet confusion is something which I don't think most of us even realize exists. So it's interesting because I see so many people who follow whatever is the latest diet craze at the moment. So it could be eating at gourmet restaurants. This is a plant-based vegan meal. Plant-based or vegan, same thing in many ways. So if you eat like this, you might be either laughed at, mocked, or heralded and glorified. Diet confusion. If you eat like this, a lot of attention is put into the culinary skills, and you find yourself being very enticed by this, and yet when you eat it, you feel exhausted, sick, and tired afterwards. Part of dietary confusion. When you go to any site, especially websites or to the media, and that is what you're going to be seeing. You're going to be seeing photos like this that are you're being told that this is what you ought to be eating, that this is what you need to start thinking about, and they're going to be giving you recipes on how to make all these glorious things. And then you're going to think, but I always feel so sick afterwards. So that's all part again of diet confusion. And that's what I mean by diet confusion, that we constantly are being bombarded, bombarded with so much information, dare we say misinformation, about what constitutes our food supply, and also how to eat it, when to eat it, and where to eat it. Is it any wonder that almost every single major illness, disease, including mental, emotional, and physical illness, are all related to diet confusion? Please begin to use that term if it makes sense to you. I came up with this term because in working with my clients, I've noticed something, that I never work with this 3 or 4 or more clients and all of them don't have diet confusion. They're not confused about dieting, and they all quote straight from the social conditioned mainstream media and the advertisements and the advertising companies, and they take that as absolute truth. And then they wonder why it is they come to me, and then they feel so much confusion because I tell them to discard all that information and let's start from scratch. So I don't teach people what to eat. I do teach people how to eat, and to restore their own intuitive skills of eating. When we restore the nervous system and we work ourselves on our past or legacies that we've inherited from friends, families, caretakers, when we restore our sanity around food, we restore our sanity around ourselves. So I invite you today to start looking at all of your issues around food, whether you think you have them or not. So, for example, how do you feel about washing the dishes? Do you realize that how you feel about washing the dishes also can have a very direct effect, or is affected by how chaotic your own views and your own belief systems around food is? Some people thoroughly enjoy washing the dishes. I've heard clients say it's their only time for reflection and to be with themselves, and that they like that constant motion, that almost meditative, almost hypnotic motion of washing the dishes, and it gives them a place and a space to be where no one else actually wants to interfere, because they don't want to be in the kitchen when somebody's washing the dishes, lest they be asked to do so as well. So one of the things that I learned from my teacher Thich Nhat Hanh was the sacred enjoyment of washing the dishes. Here it's one of the nuns at Plum Village, his meditation center in France, washing the dishes. This is one of the main things that he taught me, is washing the dishes, because I used to hate washing the dishes, truly dislike it intensely. And he said, every time we make a mindful step, we are engaged in an act of enlightenment. We can be enlightened about the fact that we're making a step. Each step can have beauty in it. Washing a dish can be an act of enlightenment. It's delightful to wash the dishes. Now I have a totally different relationship with washing the dishes after having studied with him. And I particularly use washing. He has other examples of things to work on, but for me the big issue was washing the dishes. And so he also said, while washing dishes, one should be washing the dishes, which means that while washing the dishes, one should be completely aware of the fact that one is washing the dishes. In other words, be totally engrossed in washing the dishes. Don't be thinking about rushing off to join everybody else outside or whatever they're doing, or taking a break and putting your feet up, or finally I can get to take a shower today, or I can finally watch some television just to get away from all the drudgery of my life. No, if your life feels like a drudgery, it's because you're missing. You are missing in it. That's why it's a drudgery. You're not part of it. And he said as well, Thich Nhat Hanh, mindfulness is not thinking about nirvana while you wash the dishes. Mindfulness is about finding nirvana by doing nothing but washing the dishes. I say here to that, I am the most sublime example of this. I learned to do this because of my teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. It's one of the greatest gifts he has given me. So every time I wash the dishes, I think of him and I thank him, which means that I'm constantly thinking of him and thanking him. So I invite you today to try new foods. If you have never tried a jackfruit, it's time to do so. It's pretty heavy, by the way. You can lift weights with it and get in shape as well and get strengthened. If you've never eaten straight off from a tree, find somebody with trees in their backyard or in their front yard and ask if you can come and pick their fruits. And if you can eat straight from there, make friends with people who have trees, fruit-growing trees. So I invite you all to really start thinking about who you are in terms of diet confusion. Get out of the confusion. Take your rightful place in the magnificent beauty of your intuition. Allow your intuition to be restored. Work with whomever you have to work with to restore it. It doesn't have to be me. All I'm telling you right now is that a whole magnificent, magical kingdom waiting for you beyond diet confusion. Please click on the notification button and the subscribe button here. That's only how I know that this is helpful to you, and it really helps me in deciding what to speak on, which I do every weekday, Monday to Fridays, right here on this platform.